Fable is suffering from something that I think a lot of modern games are suffering from right now, and that is the ability to stand out. When I look at this, texturally, right? When I look at this game in terms of the stones and the foliage and the houses, etc., nothing in this environment is making me go, Fable. Nothing in this environment is having me go like, yes. They mentioned the Heroes Guild. They mentioned the Heroes Guild. Where is this? Where is it? When I think Fable, when I think Heroes, there's a symbol in my mind that immediately grips me. So when they were like, and the Heroes Guild, and they just show a building with a bunch of like squiggly lines in the like fairy aesthetic, you should have shown this front and center. Heroes frickin' Guild. When everything is done in the same engine, everything looks the same. The face models, the clothing textures, and you have to try really, really, really hard to make yourself stand out. I'm not saying Fable is not a standout game. I'm just saying you have to try so much bloody harder to accomplish something that back when we were young was par for the course. Everybody had an in-house engine. Everybody was doing console exclusives, etc., etc., etc. So the fact that I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, wait, is that Claire Obscure game? Oh, wait, is that other insert RPG name here? Everything looks the same. So you really have to try to make your shit stand out. And the way to make your game stand out is through imagery. And I'm not seeing imagery right now. They're missing an opportunity to grip a lot of the OG fans in that regard, I would say.
And all of the stuff you do affects what they think of you.
You're a legend.
Because everything you do builds your...
Okay. All of this aesthetic here, this is all new. But there's something in this art style. So, as I said, right, in terms of the imagery, the textures, right, the graphical fidelity, everything looks very samey. So you're using overt design to make things stand out, but this game is not reminding me of Fable. It's reminding me of something else. And I'm not sure the developers want me being reminded of what I think I'm being reminded of. When I see shit like this is like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? I'm thinking of Shrek right now, where all the fairy tale creatures in all of the land congregate in one area. So I'm just expecting Lord Farquaad at this point. Like, this is not making me feel like I'm looking at Fable. This is making me feel like I'm looking at Shrek. And that's not Fable. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case for the entirety of the game. I have to speak off the cuff. I have to speak to what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of cool shit, by the way. A lot of the interaction mechanics that they're talking about, expanding the morality mechanics of the original Fable, The Lost Chapters, excellent. Combat looked mint. Combat looked super good. Way better than 3.
Reputation.
Very impressive.
But then again, it should.
Now that's an hero right there.
Morality has always been super important to Fable. That tension between good and evil underpinned all of the original games.
Early in the game, you'll meet a character named Dave, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who discovers a magical growth formula. He accidentally turns himself into a giant and becomes a big...
God, this is hardcore Shrek vibes.
Ultimately, will be your choice whether to kill him or to spare him. If you kill him, his giant corpse will lie on the farmland just outside of town for the rest of the game.
And that is going to affect house prices. It will also affect what a lot of the villagers think about you.
It is
Especially Dave's
Muffin.
sister.
It is.
In Fable, the choices you make will define you. What does being a hero mean to you?
At Playground Games, we've built a pedigree for beautiful, immersive, open-world experiences. Yes, they've typically involved sports cars, but this is a passion project for all of us here. Every member of this team, which we've built from scratch, has 2 key things in common: a deep love for the franchise and a burning desire to bring it back. We're making this for Fable fans just like us, but also to introduce Fable to gamers who've never played the series before. It's been great to finally tell you a little about the game we're making. There'll be much more to share as we get closer to our launch. I'm excited to tell you today that Fable is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation in autumn 2026.
This
From
year.
all of us here, thanks for watching.
Okay. Thoughts. Things I like. I really like the emphasis on choice-making apparatuses, the expansion of the original Fable's choice-making, making it less black and white and more gray, making the world react to those choices. These are things that I love in games. These are things that I loved in the original Fable. One thing I didn't see that I would like to see is a physical manifestation of good and evil upon your body, as the original game did. I would love to see that, personally. Combat looked incredible, but then again, it should. All games have pretty good combat these days. It all depends on the feel of the combat. It could end up feeling very generic and very phoned in. But I did see some skill-based stuff, so I'm hopeful. Things that give me cause for concern. The aesthetic. I don't want them to conceptualize Fable as some sort of Fey realm. That's not what Albion is. That's never been what Albion is. It's not a Fey realm. It's not this place where, you know, all the fairies and the deers and the bunnies come to congregate and be all happy clappy and ooh. Fable has a lot of darkness. Fable has a lot of interesting lore. Right? The lore of the Archons. If you really dive deep into Fable, there is such lore there. And I want to see that expanded upon within new games. That's something I would like to see. Unreal Engine 5 is it's very prone to sameness. That is a concern for me. Having a game stand out, you know, that might be a little bit difficult for Fable to do that, and that's probably why they leaned so hard into that Fey kind of aesthetic that we're seeing in this trailer that makes us think of things like Shrek. But on the flip side of that, it's set before any of the other games. How can it be? I'm not seeing anything that tells me that it's before 1. All the architecture and everything, no. No, the first hero is William Black. We know the lore there. We're the first hero in a generation. So this could easily be after 3. And the fact that we have an updated Heroes Guild, I would argue that it is after 3. This is a sequel to 3. So after the hero of 3 basically restored the heroes, I think, is probably what we'll see. All in all, I'm hopeful. I see nothing here that destroys my urge to play this game. I think that the devs leaning... The thing that the devs kept saying, choices, 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 that is exactly what I want to hear as a fan of Fable. That is exactly what I want to hear. Fable focused on morality. That was the focus of the game. So I'm very happy to hear that from the devs.